White flag is raised.
This
Open
event
running
is
in
now
the
in
Navan
play.
Novice Hurdle, grade 2 over 2.5 miles. And it's Edison Kent representing last year's winning trainer Jessica Haddington, who cuts out the early running from Ginto. Eric Bloodaxe, novice enough on the outside of Mr. Fred Rogers, and dropped in the Little Yank. A significant run to the second flight as they make the bend to come across to the straight. The leader is Edison Kent and Sean O'Keefe, followed by Ginto. Note a change of rider on Ginto. Jamie Codd steps in for Davy Russell. Third is Eric Bloodaxe and Donna Myler. Then Mr. Fred Rogers and Dennis O'Regan, and the back marker is the Little Yank and Danny Mullins. Coming into the straight first time, where they will jump flights 2, 3, and 4. And the leader is the nose bandit Edison Kent, followed by the main two in the race, Ginto and Eric Bloodaxe, then Mr. Fred Rogers, 3 lengths behind them in fourth place with the back marker, the Little Yank. Setting their sights in flight number 2. Order pretty much unchanged. It's Edison Kent into this first flight in the straight, followed by Ginto, white, green, and red. Jingenstown Silks of Eric Bloodaxe, and then Mr. Fred Rogers, and last of all is the Little Yank. Downhill to flight number 3. Edison Kent pops it, a couple of lengths in front of Ginto, Eric Bloodaxe, Mr. Fred Rogers, and the Little Yank. On to the fourth flight, and the last one next time in the graded Navan Novice Hurdle. Edison Kent with much closer in second Ginto, then Eric Bloodaxe and Mr. Fred Rogers, who made a slight mistake, and a break of 4 lengths to the Little Yank as the 5 come past the judge. Circuit to race and 7 flights left to jump. And the leader is Edison Kent and Sean O'Keefe, followed by Ginto and Jamie Codd, and third Eric Bloodaxe and Donna Myler. Mr. Fred Rogers, stable companion of Ginto, is fourth. Dennis O'Regan, and the back marker is the Little Yank. A little more spaced out as they head towards the flight at the halfway stage. Edison Kent, tracked by Ginto, Eric Bloodaxe, Mr. Fred Rogers, and the Little Yank, as they turn at the 10, heading into the back straight with 6 flights left to jump. Still in the same order as they head down the back straight towards the 9 furlong point, and the first of 3. Edison Kent by 2.5 lengths to Ginto, seeking a third win on the bounce here in Navan, and then Eric Bloodaxe, Mr. Fred Rogers, and the Little Yank. At the first flight down the far side, again Eric Bloodaxe, novice in third, as they race to the flight at their point of departure. Edison Kent, Ginto is within a length, another length back to in third place Eric Bloodaxe, followed over the flight a mile from the finish by Mr. Fred Rogers, and the Little Yank has been last throughout as they pass their point of departure. 4 flights left to jump, 7 furlongs to go. Edison Kent is almost joined by Ginto. 2 lengths behind them, and third is Eric Bloodaxe, and then Mr. Fred Rogers and the Little Yank. Last flight on the far side, 4 from the finish. Edison Kent into it. Ginto within a couple of lengths, then Eric Bloodaxe, who's tracking Ginto closely in third, and then Mr. Fred Rogers and the Little Yank. Exiting the back straight, 6 furlongs out. They've 3 flights to jump. Edison Kent back to clear from Ginto and Eric Bloodaxe. Break of 4 to 5 lengths to Mr. Fred Rogers, who's almost joined for that 4th spot by the Little Yank, as they've less than 5 furlongs to go and 3 flights to jump. Edison Kent yet to be headed, with Eric Bloodaxe just moving into second place ahead of Ginto. These 3 are covered by 3 lengths clear from the Little Yank and Mr. Fred Rogers as they turn in with half a mile to go and 3 flights to jump in the Navan Novice. And it's Edison Kent with poised on the outside. Eric Bloodaxe 2 lengths off them, and third is Ginto as they come to the third last flight. Edison Kent is now ridden along in front with Eric Bloodaxe on the outside, coming up to challenge, and Ginto jumps right up on terms in 3 abreast, heading down the hill towards the second last. The Little Yank has has moved after them in fourth, and Mr. Fred Rogers can't offer any more. Gento leads it 2 out from Eric Bloodaxe. In third is Edison Kent, and then the little Yank and Mr. Fred Rogers, and heading for the final flight. It's Gento and Jamie Codd opening up from Eric Bloodaxe, then Edison Kent, who gives best, and at the final flight in the Navan Novice, over and clear is Gento from Eric Bloodaxe, the little Yank next, and up the hill towards the finish. It is Gento.